Women's U.S. Women's Open, presented by the brands of Ebonite International.
Hi, this is Del Warren, Vice President of the Kegel Training Center, and we are here at the Ebonite Test Center discussing some very special events that will be coming up this spring in 2011 to help everyone prepare to be the best they can be at the 2011 BPA Women's U.S. Open. And with me I have 4 champions that everybody recognizes: Kelly Kulick, Tommy Jones, Jason Couch, and Liz Johnson. And these special events that I'm referring to will be held at the Kegel Training Center in Nashville and in Las Vegas, in conjunction with all the different qualifiers that will be happening throughout the states in order to qualify for the Women's U.S. Open. And what Ebonite and Kegel decided to do, along with the series of vignettes for education for the event, is to actually stage some really big events to help people come and train so that when they actually go to the competition, they'll be very well prepared to face the things that we talked about that you see in the major championships. So some of the things that you're going to be seeing during this event is a classroom discussion on the pattern, which Kegel designed, actually going over the different loads and the different structure of the pattern, the nature of the pattern, so to get you to understand what you're about to face. Secondly, how to play the lanes, the lane play discussions. And as we talked about before, there's a lot of different ways to get to the pocket on this pattern, and so with that, it'll allow everybody to play their A game as we discussed, but also with a lot of different options, sometimes there can be some confusion. Thirdly, we'll actually get on the lanes and evaluate everyone's arsenal. And as we talked about, and you guys made very clear, knowing your equipment and knowing when to use certain bowling balls, that's absolutely, especially in the demands of a format like a major championship, where you really have to know your arsenal. So you get a chance to work with some of the best players in the world, the folks at the coaches from Kegel, and really take a look at each one of your arsenals. And then a demo day, actually be able to go out and test some bowling balls, and then add that and get some good recommendations, maybe drill up a couple balls to fit that pattern, and really be able to actually set a nice little plan so that you actually have a sequence of bowling balls designed for you, your game, and taking into consideration things like your own personal versatility, etc. So what I really want to open the discussion for this crew is, each one of you has kind of been where our audience has been. You didn't bowl for a living at one time, but you aspired to be a professional. And you know, I wish I know that when I was thinking about coming on the tour, that there was an event like this to help me prepare for my first U.S. Open. So what are some of the value that you see in this for somebody actually that has a chance to come in there? Do you guys see the value? Would you take advantage of it, Tommy?
Well, yeah, I mean, it's something that you know, I always look back on the things that I would like to have done when I was coming up, and it's like you said, if I would have had a chance to go meet with some of the greatest bowlers in the world, I would have took it. You know, I was fortunate enough to get, you know, taken under the wing by Jason and a few other guys on tour, and they helped me out tremendously to get to the point that I am today. And any information you can get is always helpful. I mean, you can never have too much information. And, you know, not seeing people that you see throughout the year, if you get to see them, you know, like seeing you a couple of times a year. If I'm throwing a bat, I'll ask you a couple of questions, and vice versa. Kelly and I talk, Jason and I talk, and Liz and I talk. That's what we do. You know, we try to get information from each other to become better. And if these people show up to this thing, they'll have a little bit of advantage when they show up to the tournament.
Okay. Kelly, what about it? You know, when you were great coming out of college out of Moorhead and get a chance to your first couple tournaments, actually go to an event, drill some balls, actually bowl on the pattern that you're going to bowl on, and get some advice from the best players and the best coaches. I think that would be tremendous.
I agree, and you know, if I was an amateur coming in, I would utilize the professionals and their experience over the years to gain as much information as possible. I mean, Dell, obviously being at the Kegel Center, having the adaptability to put down the pattern, bowl on it, practice on it, and then preach about it to the people, it's really just an informative way to get that extra knowledge that they're going to have on the patterns. Me, my segment in life of growing up has always been like a ladder, just one rung at a time. It started in high school bowling, worked its way to collegiate and national team USA, and I sure would love to bowl a regional event before bowling any type of professional event. So really the information that's available out there, I would take full advantage of it and attend, knowing I can guess an idea of what kind of equipment I'm going to use, how the pattern might play. And even though it may not play the same when you're at the venue, you still have some similarities you can walk away with and really focus on that you can use to your advantage. So anytime that information is available, by all means, I tend to use it.
Jason, I know that you've been affiliated with Kelly Kegel for a very long time, and you've seen the advantages of training there, as well as getting familiar with the pattern and actually having a plan. What would you recommend to some of these people about coming and some of the experiences that you've had throughout your career?
Well, first of all, I'd like to state that nothing like this was around when I started. We're going back a few years, but I got to bowl as an amateur in one of the U.S. Opens back in the late 80s. No one came to help me with my equipment. I was on my own, so to take advantage of one of these events, maybe one, if not two, you can go to the first one, get an idea of what you're looking at, practice a little bit, go back to another one, maybe have more experience, get to bowl in the pattern again. No telling where it can go, and I don't know how you can put a price tag on this.
Right.
It's invaluable to anybody bowling the event to be able to have that advantage for top pros and top coaches in the world to look at your equipment and go, well, maybe a little different layout on the same ball, or maybe a little different cover stock. I mean, it's such an advantage to take advantage of these events, to get in there, especially someone that might not get to one. You're going to be just head and shoulders ahead of those people, coming into the event.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it. Liz, I know that you bowled a year in college and prior to coming on the tour, and I know it was like preparing for my first major. I was kind of scared to death, didn't know what to expect, and kind of like Jason, we didn't have a coach that said, this is what you're going to face. To be able to go to an event like this and say, here's the pattern, here's some advice from the best players in the world, and by the way, here we're going to help you drill balls, and all of that's going to encompass in that day. How helpful would that be to you?
I mean, this is extremely helpful. I started, I remember my first U.S. Open, pretty much coming in blind. I didn't know what to expect. I kind of was on my own, but I had some of the other professionals helping me come up through the ranks also. But to come in and have this knowledge and work with the coaches and with the balls and on the lane play is I think going to be an extreme advantage, and it is. You can't put a price tag on that.
Certainly, and for everybody here that's going to be showing up, they obviously have a passion for bowling. They want to do their best. It'd be like to sit around and play around with Tiger Woods prior to your first Masters or first U.S. Open. That's kind of how I equate this. So again, I think everybody sees the value, and hopefully we can communicate to those folks. Those locations will be in Nashville, the Kegel Training Center in Florida, and in Las Vegas, sometime between February and April. And we'll have those dates out to everyone as well as all the details that will be as part of the event. So we hope that everybody that sees this will take advantage of it, put it into their plans, and we know that there's going to be a huge value for you in helping you prepare for your first major, or maybe for you to get to a higher level in major. So again, that's the 2011 BPA Women's U.S. Open, and co-sponsored this event with Ebonite and Kegel. We hope to see you there.
Hi, I'm Kelly Kulick, 2010 U.S. Open Women's Champion. I invite you ladies to come on out and sharpen your skills and learn about the game of bowling. You will be entitled to work with some of the best coaches there is in the sport of bowling. If you're looking to sharpen your skills, learn about the U.S. Open pattern, and someday be a future competitor in this event, I encourage you to come out, put on your shoes, tie them up, and give it a go. You too can bowl to win.
Bowling's U.S. Women's Open, presented by the Brands of Ebonite International.